each and every one of you to CEOtalk Mumbai. This is an initiative by the Talk. I know I don't sound sick, but seeing you guys makes me very, very excited. My name is Muthu, and I am the owner of a brand called Crumbles. I make yummy cookies out of it. Today's session is sponsored by the Tata Telebusiness Services. They are the country's leading enabler of collaboration and connectivity solutions for the businesses in India. They offer solutions ranging from connectivity, cloud, collaboration, IoT, and marketing solutions. And they are also the country's leading provider of ICT solutions for the businesses. Right? So today we are going to talk about, as I told you, this is going to be a panel discussion round. And we are going to talk about how the building digital resilience to thrive in the new normal. So this is going to be the theme of today's session, building digital resilience to thrive in the new normal. So I would like to begin today's session by introducing the lovely panelists who have joined with us. Now I know this is a virtual session, but let us give a good round of applause as I introduce each and every one of your names so that we have a good energy flowing inside the room. I would like to start with the man with a beautiful smile, Mr. Sanjeev Samala, co-founder and director, Axisvation and CheckExplore Technologies Private Limited. Welcome, Mr. Sanjeev. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting.
Followed by, I would like to welcome Mr. Ajay Sawant, CEO and Managing Director, Orient Technologies Private Limited. Welcome, Mr. Ajay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Pleasure. We have Mr. Nasser Arivoli, Managing Director, COROB India. Pleasure to have you, sir.
Pleasure.
We have Mr. Pinaki Laskar, founder, Fisheyebox Group. Welcome, sir. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
We also have Mr. Ajay Lulia, Director and Chief Technical Officer, Synergy Technology Services Private Limited. Welcome, Mr. Ajay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we are also expecting the presence of Mr. Mayur Gandhi, founder and director, RAR-Compas IT Solutions and Consultancy, who would be joining with us very shortly. And at this juncture, it is also my deep privilege in welcoming this wonder woman whose support is of tremendous level, Janis Das, Regional Marketing Head, Mumbai, Tata Teleservices Limited. Welcome, Janis.
Very good.
Nice to have you. And I'd also like to pass on the floor to Janis to give away a welcome note for today's session. Over to you.
Thank you, Muthu. And a very good afternoon to all the eminent speakers and to all the participants who are logging in right now for the CXO round series. I will give a small introduction of, what is Tata Tele Business Services all about, what are its core strengths, and what is its market focus currently. So Tata Tele Business Services belongs to the prestigious Tata Group of companies, which is the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses, with services ranging for connectivity, collaboration, cloud, security, Internet of Things, and marketing solutions. TTBS also offers the largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. We are all experiencing COVID, and we have seen that COVID-19 has acted as a tipping point for digital transformation of the workplace. And thus, this will speed up further as technology is now a vital pivot on which enterprises are totally dependent for their business continuity and growth. Digital agility thus is becoming a critical factor for the workplace to communicate and collaborate effectively both internally and with customers. As the country's leading technology enabler, TTBS has been empowering enterprises with voice, data, and managed services to develop deep digital capabilities, build resilience, and enhance operational efficiency. Now, enterprises are moving fast on their digital curve and are embracing hybrid work culture that allows them to service their customers from anywhere, anytime. To meet this growing demand, we have strengthened our portfolio of services such as cloud-based communication solutions, collaboration solutions, Internet of Things, data management, and cybersecurity solutions. We have recently launched an advanced cloud communication by the name Smart Flow, which combines an uninterrupted flow of business communication with intelligent call routing and monitoring. Not only this, it also offers on-demand scalability, which allows businesses to adapt quickly to changing business conditions. With work from home increasing tremendously, security is very important, and cyber security solutions are the need of the hour. The smart flow also comes with enterprise-grade security and reliability. Now, cyber attacks like phishing, ransomware, etc., have become far more pervasive and sophisticated, especially during the pandemic. To address this, Tata Tele Business Services has enhanced its cybersecurity portfolio to provide a wide world-class security platform such as email security, web security, next-generation firewall, endpoint security, and multi-factor authentication security services. Therefore, enterprises now have access to a comprehensive smart perimeter security proposition that is robust, scalable, and can be rapidly deployed at an affordable cost. We have also further strengthened our suite of work from anywhere solutions to meet the demands of the hybrid workflows. Also, TTBS is a trusted provider of IoT services that are designed to facilitate real-time tracking for informed decision making, such as asset management, fleet management, tracking, school bus tracking, and workforce management. For the last 2 decades, our deep customer engagement has helped us to develop solutions that would enable enterprises to compete and win in their respective business segments. We'll continue to play the role of technology enabler by strengthening our portfolio of services, especially in the areas of connectivity, collaboration, SaaS, IaaS, IoT, and cloud, while simultaneously enhancing our network and sales reach capability to cover as much of the enterprise footprint as possible and enable organizations to do better. Thank you once again for sparing time and joining this session. I'm sure it will be a very insightful one. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janis. Although your voice was breaking for a bit, I hope you'll come back with your wonderful voice in the closing thoughts. We're all very, very eager to listen to you at that time again. So without any further ado, gentlemen, let's quickly jump on to today's panel discussion round. As I told you, this is going to be a recorded session, and there is going to be a plenty of viewers who are going to listen to your inputs and thoughts that you're going to share today. So the theme of today's session, as I told you, it is going to be building digital resilience to thrive in the new normal. And I have a few questions with me, as I told you before, and I would love to understand the perspectives of each and every one of you. And please keep your answers precise, as it's a time-bound session. Right. So it's been a year, since all this entire chaos started. I still remember the nation went on 21 days full lockdown in the last March. And we said to ourselves that things are going to be okay, at least in the month of August. I think that's how we convinced ourselves, right? So we said things will be fine in the month of August. But August went by, the New Year came in, and again, it has been, it's May again. The 1 year of lockdown also has been crossed, and I think the situation is only getting worse with each day passing. But one thing we have to admit is everything around us has changed. Maybe that's why they call it as a new normal. Right from our lifestyle to business, everything has changed. Right? So I would like to start today's session on a very lighter note, or probably on a nostalgic note. So what went through your mind when the lockdown began? What were your top priorities as a CEO? So this is going to be my first question for today. I'd like to start with Mr. Sanjeev. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. I think last year, at least, right, the COVID, when we started, there were two things in my mind. One was, existing business, because we have a lot of NDAs and, contracts with the existing customers where we need to drive, fulfill their support work. So one of the things was, how do I be able to start the support work? So we have to do the BCPDR. We always wanted to, in case of a crisis, how do you manage it? It was a year. I think we got a very short notice. Maybe the government gave you only 3-4 days saying that it's going to be complete lockdown. So we have to plan to keep the business continuity support. That's one, planning it out. Second is moving away from the office, because we had a ODC center kind of a facility where we had, dedicated center where people were working from the premises. But suddenly we have to move that whole setup to a home-based work. So in that case, the security becomes very important, because we have a lot of NDAs with the customers where data security is one of the critical things. So if the work from home culture is going to come into picture, we need to adopt to the security protocols what we have put into the contract. So it was very vital for us to, invoke our BCP DR plan and, give the confidence to the customers, saying that the work, what support was given to you prior to the COVID or work from home will be the seamless. That was one of the challenge which we was addressed it. Second was the staff were need to be given adequate equipments, because people who are working from the desktops in the office, suddenly we have to give them the equipments, so that their data packs, their internet packs, network packs, equipment. So I think the two logistics were need to be taken care. So I think that way is where, as a leadership model per person, the two need to be addressed. So that customer, external customer, internal customer employees. So I think that was the two main primary factors I think which we have to address.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev. I still remember my brother standing in queue to get his office machines that was given by his corporate. Let me quickly move on to Mr. Ajay Sawant. Over to you, Ajay.
Good afternoon, everybody, once again. In short, if I have to say that the top two priorities as a CEO of the organization were, first, the business continuity, and second is employee well-being. How they can be physically and mentally strong. Because physically, everybody needs to be always fit, because they will not able to serve the office or their family. So physically, everybody has to be strong. And secondly, the mental. Okay, because we were actually, by that time, we were all learned what is happening in US and Europe. And that was a scary scenario. And those are the developed countries. And if the developed countries having a very small population are going through such kind of a phase, what will happen to India, which is a massively populated country and very dense country, how we can able to handle that scenario. So those are the top priorities which were there. So business continuity from the Orient perspective, from our own organization perspective, and how do we serve our customers while serving our customers? How do we take care of our employee well-being? Okay, so these are the two major factors that, two things which came into my mind when the first lockdown was announced.
Fantastic, Mr. Ajay. It was very kind of a lot of entrepreneurs that I meet are posting this as a factor, employee well-being. So wonderful thing that the entrepreneurs start to think. It's a fantastic gesture. Let me quickly move on to Mr. Pinaki.
Hi everybody again, once again, and let me share. We are basically organizations with emerging and disruptive working model and implementations. Business problem and solving that with a disruptive. And disruptive technology is always a risk-driven technology. And in a system where it is a large organization's work, and the innovations term itself, that when you become in a pandemic situation, right, then there is a day how our mostly distributed remote works having the problem of day risk of innovations. But being an innovative company or innovations in a distributed model, how we can do that? That is the first things which we got stuck, like how we de-risk innovations in terms of distributed model and remote models. Number two is that security in terms of research and IP-driven works, like how the security will be managed in terms of each and every steps of development cycle of a software or on a process. These are the two major challenges in terms of organizations. Next, we always work in the terms of mental health positioning or mental health projects with different level of organization of NGOs, and that is always a priority for us, for everybody, even for my organizations and apart from all of the organizations, how to take care the mental health and public health security as well as positioning in terms of technology, right? How we can improve that positioning of well-being as well as the mental health to enhance in daily life work through our technology innovations. That's the initial what I want to share.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pinaki. Let me quickly ask Ajay, Lulia.
Hi. Good afternoon again. For us, the challenge was again pretty much it was same across the board. So first thing what came in my mind was the operation. How do I make sure that my operation is working properly without hampering and giving any issues to the employees of the organization? The biggest challenge again was that my office had 60% of desktop and 40% of laptops, and getting 60% laptop on the spot was a big challenge. So the quickly thing what we did was we asked employees to pick up the desktop, and we gave them Wi-Fi cards, data cards, and everything else. They took the desktop home. We made sure the desktop are reached properly. So we managed the transport as well to make sure that the things reach properly. And virtually we made sure that everything is working properly. We then once the operation was all set and done, we thought of making sure that we give confidence to all the employees that things are okay, things are fine, because everybody had that mindset: what if my job is gone? That was the biggest question in everybody's mind, and we had only one question in mind, was the business. So while we think about our business, we made sure that we should make sure that our employees are happy. They are actually at their best set of mind, where they are giving their best output and also taking care of their families. So we gave them open hours of working, that you don't need to give your 9 to 6 hours, 9 to 6 timing, but you can work actually on your own time and make sure that your work is complete at the end of the day. So that actually made sure that there is a burden on the employee that I have to get up in the morning, be 9 o'clock online, make sure that my work is starting at 9 o'clock. So we said you do your work, get your work started whatever time you want, but make sure whatever tasks are assigned should be completed within the specific frame of time. That actually worked a lot for us. And the third biggest point was the business continuation. So while the business was going on, we thought of talking to clients, making sure that business is working with, and making sure that even client does not have any issues, because the biggest part of issue was that even clients should get their own business, and when they get their business is when I get my business. So we made sure there's a win-win for both of us, and we worked towards all the clients, of talking to them, making calls to them, and making sure everything is working properly.
So, all right. Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Yes, Mr. Nasser.
Yeah, for us it was, let me say, the topmost was the business continuity. How do we look at it? And next was the safety of the employees. Now, because we come under a manufacturing also, like, we are not only not in the IT, we also, we make machines for the tinting machines for the paint companies. So we have a manufacturing setup, we have an office setup, and we have people in the field who are doing service of all these machines that are installed in the point of sale. So safety of that people was another big concern, because the people are in the field now. What they will do, what will happen to the machines, the assets that are there in the field, and what is the future? And second, the third point that was coming is we also have the certain values of the company. So how do we adhere to these values of these companies during these times when we are working virtually? We still need to adhere to the values. So these were some of the points. And another thing is you need, at the end of the day, you need your finances there to run the organization during the most difficult times. So the most thing where we're looking at sustenance of finance. What do we do in terms of cost? Can we get some money immediately? Can we look into ways and means of getting in the cash which is there in the market? How do we look at various things? And the last, I would say, which was again an important thing, is the investment on infrastructure, because the people have to work from home. We had to ensure that, again, the data secrecy, so many things are there. So how do we look at all these things? So these were some of the things that, came up to the mind at that point of time, which keeps up now coming again, though we know now, but there are some lockdowns keeping happening here and there. So some of them again keep coming up. So that's where it is.
Fantastic, sir. So there has been a very, very wonderful set of inputs from you lovely gentlemen in the first round. Moving forward, I think this pandemic has opened the door for a lot of possibilities, is what I can tell you, right? For instance, it is the work from home culture, right? So before the pandemic, there has been a lot of debate regarding the work from home culture, especially for a country like India, wherein you can't give proper bandwidth to each and every place. So imagine one of my employees working on a rural city. It is not possible for me to give a proper bandwidth and keep him at the comfort level. So that there has been a lot of difficulties, and there has been a lot of debate. But after the pandemic, every other organization has its employees working from home, right? So there are a lot of other possibilities that had its presence, especially post the pandemic. But let's talk about the workforce in precise for now. So, dear gentlemen, what do you think is going to be the future of workforce? So, is it going to be the regular office setup? Is it going to be work from home, or is it going to be the hybrid model? What is it going to be? For this, I would like to start in reverse this time. I'd like to ask Mr. Nasser first. Over to you.
Okay, as I was telling you, we have different operations. So the office operation is going to be a hybrid, which is going to be people still, because when even after lockdowns, when there was a little bit of times that we were coming to the offices in 20%, 30%, people are working from home. So it is a hybrid culture. The only thing what we have done is we have more adept, and people are now seeing how we can use the virtual platforms more and more, the cloud, the protocols, the VPNs. We are making sure that we don't use anything if it is, free and all that. We make sure that data secrecy and, so we get properly registered by paying and getting the licenses, even for a Zoom. We pay and get, all these things. We have made sure that office function is doing good. And when we look at, one, we have the workforce, which is working in the factory. Now, this is anyway, people have to come to factory, but what happens is absenteeisms. There are a lot of people moving. The labor has been in and out. And also we are now trying to see how that's the future, which is how we can deploy automation in a large extent. So which is Industry 4 automation, in terms of how we bring this force, we make them embrace the technological advancement that is happening. So while productivity increases, at the same time, people use more and more of technology in their day-to-day operations so that they become more efficient with less number of people. That is how we are looking at. That is one. And the last is we have this huge service force, which is more than 250 people across the country. So it's a lot of AI is what is in the work, how we can make sure that people get virtually connected. How do they connect to this, let's say the shop dealers and the shop boys who are in a way illiterate, but they are, they are techno savvy guys, because they use a lot of WhatsApp nowadays in various forms. So a lot of e-learning to our people to make sure how do they communicate with this customers? How do they make sure that preemptive maintenance, predictive maintenance and sort of things, virtual connects and all. So that is another AI to a large extent in terms of data that we can get from the machines, assimilate it and try to give it back is something that we are looking at. So the future, according to me, is going to be for my organization in these three segments that if I see, a lot of technology is coming into place, a lot of virtual technology, different platforms, but how we try and choose the right ones and make it more efficient.
True. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nasser. Let me quickly ask Mr. Ajay Sawant at this juncture.
Well, the first 7 days of lockdown, we were all thinking that how we can able to manage our systems and processes, how we can digitalize them so that people can able to access the same systems and processes, even working from anywhere. So in our organization, we never considered the concept of work from home perspective. We always consider the concept of work from anywhere. Whoever able to come to office, let them come to the office and work. Whoever wants to work from their Mumbai house, they can work from Mumbai office, or even at the native place if they want. They can go to their native place and they can work from there. Or somebody decides to work from Starbucks or CCD, let them work from from there. The idea is to get sure that everybody follows the systems and processes of the organization. So digitalization is the key thing that we were all thinking for the first week. But the food for thought was, can you digitalize 100% of your processes? And the answer we got was not necessarily 100%, but maximum we can digitalize it. And that is where we have come out with another buzzword called phygital. That is physical plus digital. Okay, so whatever you can digitalize it, please make it digitalized. Whatever is physical, like say warehouse management or a logistics, where you require people to be present personally to do the shipping of the supply chain management, or the break fix for the tech support guys who are managing the break fix calls. They need to be there at the data center of the customer to sort out the problem. Okay, so physical plus digital is what we innovated at that particular time. And actually looking at that, the future that I'm seeing is that we don't have to call at least 25% of my staff to office any time in future now. So in future, probably 25% of my staff will keep on working from anywhere. I'm once again saying anywhere means if they need to be in the office, they can come to the office. They need to be in the house or their native place, wherever they are, they can work from there. And that's a liberty we are going to give it to our employees. So I see that's the future. Not necessarily you have to call the 100% of your staff to the office, which used to be there before pandemic.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Let me quickly move on to Mr. Pinaki. But before that, just a reminder, kindly have your answers a little precise. Over to Mr. Pinaki.
Yes. People are already discussed on that point. I'll give you the two form of technology. It's called a one tangible and it's a non-tangible format, right? Tangible, non-tangible format, we are already working. A lot of companies have already started working in these. Before the pandemic also, a lot we called a remote work is there. But if it is case of tangible format of a technology, then you only remote work will not be possible. You have to be physically present over there, implementing something in terms of, if you say in a car. If you want to implement some technology in the car or some of the chipset into a mobile device, any of the healthcare devices, then the physical presence in terms of, this is a tangible form. It cannot be ignored or it cannot be done in the remote places. Even if you are adopted industrial 4 technique in terms of automations or robotic automations, then also human interference is needed over there. So this is again a challenge for us during this time, that instead of having a 4th industrial revolutions or industrial method we have adopted, but in form of tangible technology, we face a lot of problems and still facing is on in that case.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pinaki. Let me ask Mr. Sanjeev at this juncture. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I think I look this is going to be a hybrid model, because you're not going to be having completely work from home or physically, because technology is going to enable you. But as rightly said, if wherever there's a need for a person to be in office, that could be taken care. For our company, I think we are seeing a lot of people right now who are working from anywhere in India, like west across. So probably if required, there is also mandate for a person to now. I think this pandemic also resulted into one thing of bonding. I think we need to have the human factor, connectivity. I think we do a lot of discussions and everything happens. But when you're in the closed room, because we are into 2 services. One is the product line, one is the services. In the product, there's a lot of innovation happens. For the innovation, I think people need to be connected. Maybe not necessary they will come every day to the office, but once in a week, twice in a week, where they will come, they will brainstorm it, do the ideation process, implementation process. So that will be happening. So I will say for our company, it will be a hybrid model. We are choosing.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Sanjeev. And finally, let me ask Mr. Ajay Lulia.
Yeah. So before pandemic, we used to allow work from home to specific grade of people in our office. And post pandemic, we actually thought of, working towards to see if things are working properly. So we had daily calls to understand, what work was done, how the work was done, and to make sure that we set up a process for everybody in the office. I had a dream before pandemic, to actually keep 25% or 40% space allocated for rotating table, where, a person can just block a desk through Google Calendar and he can come and work in the office, and rest time he can work from home. So I started working on that concept, because that was something which I had to work, which I was working before, but I could not implement because I didn't know whether work from home will work or not. So during this last pandemic, I worked towards that, and I have come to consensus where my 40% of staff will actually work from home, and team can always block specific desk for a week, 10 days, 15 days. They can come on the desk, work on the desk. Once they are done, they can release the desk to next person who wants to come and work from the office. So I would like to say that 40% of my actually staff will actually work from home, and the rest 40-60%, which is actually operations staff and technical team and the product team, can actually work from the office if need be.
Fantastic, fantastic, Ajay. So I think one thing what I can conclude is it depends upon the nature of the industry, right? So for IT service sector, like for Mr. Ajay, it is not necessarily that they have to come to the office. Work from home is perfectly all right. As he said, his staff can sit comfortably at his apartment or a Starbucks and he can definitely do his work done. But the situation is not same for Mr. Nasser's company. For a manufacturing sector like Nasser's, it is not really possible for 100% work from home or 100% hybrid as well. People have to come to to work in the manufacturing sector. So I think the future is undoubtedly going to be hybrid, wherein the desk employees are going to be put at home for their safety and sit and work at the comfort of their home. And for the manufacturing plants, the workers have to come at the office or the industry and do their work. Fantastic, fantastic. So as the lockdown was announced, there was a big pressure on the business owners aspect, right? Not just in the form of their businesses getting shut or or any other matter, but there was a huge question on empathy, right? How are we going to take care of our employees? But at the same time, we have to cut the cost as well, right? So there were two things that were simultaneously going inside our head. Number one, cost cutting. Number two, empathetic towards our employees, or in general, being very empathetic. So as a business owner, how did you balance between the cost effective and the empathetic leadership is going to be my next question. I hope this is going to be very interesting. So let me quickly start with Mr. Pinaki this time. Over to you, sir.
Yes. See, the cost is always a major challenges current situations, like running a business organizations and the manpowers and running the business is already into a mode of low new business are in a low acquisition mode currently in terms of market. Now everybody know already that everybody has discounted or it has given less salaries in that employees' salaries were cut, every aspects of it. But we try to figure out that if the business going to less and if the salary is getting cut, then how the alternative way to manage the resources, as well as how you can earn more money on that things in the current situations, right? That we are mostly in the places of R&Ds, and we have academicians who are placed in the expert in the knowledge. So we try to explore it in the academics and the industry partner with the colleges, different organizations, so that we expert our own knowledge to learning somebody. They are getting an expertise on that. Similarly, our decrease in salary is compensated by some of the earning which are getting in this time. So balancing like that, it works for us. And that model was working from last 1 year. And as a whole, if you say that cost cutting in the salary doesn't affect too much for us.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pinaki. Let me quickly ask Mr. Ajay Sawant.
Well, I strongly believe in one thing that, one negative instance will lead to 9 positive instances. So when the pandemic hits us, it was absolutely a curse to mankind. Okay. And of course, naturally to the business. So I thought this one negative incident should drive 9 positive things. And luckily being in IT, pandemic has actually helped somewhat, IT sector very much. And I hope all the panelists and fellow colleagues will agree to me that yes, if digital transformation has happened, it's nothing because of the CIO, CTO or this, but it was only because of COVID. Only because of this, I think more digital transformation has happened in India or even worldwide for that matter. But empathy is something which is long-term. Please understand, whenever you help your employees at their difficult time, okay, they will be forever with you. And in IT segment, employee is the biggest asset of the organization. And when I prepare my balance sheet, I always tell my team that these are all figures, okay? But my biggest asset is outside this balance sheet, which is my employees. And that is where we come out with the COVID policy, whereby if a person gets COVID, all these leaves will be not considered as a leave, but it's a paid leave. Whatever medical help he requires, we have done a special COVID insurance for our employees. And we try to make sure that the employee is not financially broke down. That is how you will make his psychological conditions of mind healthy. And that's how the empathy plays a role. Yes, of course, it will hit your balance sheet. Those expenses needs to be taken care of. But it's always balancing act, right? The finance has to take care of the cost versus the earning. If your business is not suffering and the business is growing, then I believe these additional costs one has to take into consideration. And that's what we have done, keeping the empathy in mind.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Let me quickly pull in Mr. Sanjeev Samala this time. Over to you, Mr. Sanjeev.
Thank you. I think I agree with Ajay. I think, being a small company or startups like us, it's very important that the people are your assets. Probably keeping them together, collided with them, keeping them connected. The empathy part is a really lot, because a lot of people who joined with our company us from the inception, and they are with us from a long period of time, and they're looking to grow with us. So in that case, the empathy plays a very big role. Today also, we do a lot of con calls with the people who are affected, their families. We try to talk to them. I personally connect with their families, talk to them, see that their well-being of everyone in the family itself, not only the employee, is near dear ones, so that they feel they're connected. Because I think we all are working in our companies, right? In the past, we also wanted to have that company, thinks about you, it cares about you. I think that feeling needs to be given. I think once that connectivity is there with you, the employee will stay with you, because there could be chances that you may have reductions in salaries. If you give a plan to them saying that maybe this time we are trying to give a little bit less salary, but as we move forward, when we get a better margins, we'll be able to pay you off. I think that assurance, when you openly talking to your employees, I think that's really making a difference. And that is what we have done. Today, I think employees are very transparent. I think we said to them, today, I think this is where the financial situation of the company, this is where our customers are, putting our financials behind. It is getting delayed. So you will be, taken care. This is what we are going. Let's move ahead with this. I think that clear-cut communication is very important, and empathy really plays a very important role.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Mr. Sanjeev. Let me ask Mr. Nasser regarding the same. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, for us, being in the manufacturing industry and service industry, of course, with the pandemic, things stopped. However, talking to our customers and doing some risk analysis, we came up to this decision as a management that we will not do any job cuts. We will not reduce any salary. So this is a very risky decision, but at the same time, we thought this will definitely go a long way as per our analysis. And we started working on this. We did the confidence building to our employees, because at the end of the day, any organization means, if you look at it, is people. So we gave this confidence to our people that we are not doing job cuts. We are not doing the pay cuts. However, we said, if at all there is a possibility, with some fringe benefits, if people can forego, which is not affecting you in any form in your salary. So this is what we looked at people. At the same time, what we also did was, a lot of positivity in people's mind. We carried out a lot of activities during the period when even for birthdays, they were like, joining together, wishing them. Hidden talents, people were recording things and sending it across. We conducted a lot of programs. We call it as employee engagement activities, employee connect, employee involvement. I mean, the HR was going overboard trying to see that how the positive mindset of the people is kept at the same level as what they were when they were meeting and talking and working together. So this part of it, we took a very calculated risk, but I think it has been very, very rewarding for us, because towards the end, as customers promised, they said, let the pandemic be over, Mr. Nasser, we will come back to COROB. We will somehow see that we do the business as what we have given commitments. And thanks to most of our customers, we got even more business than anticipated. So that is how we looked at it, and we worked on that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nasser. Finally, let me pull in Mr. Ajay, Lulia.
So for us, what we did was initially when things started moving and we saw that the business was getting affected. A couple of clients, they asked for rate cuts. We rolled on same thing to our employees. We thought of talking and getting understanding first with the employee, got the confidence, and we moved towards making sure that for first quarter we see what best we can do for the company. So while the first quarter we did cut about 5 to 10% of pay cuts in all the employees, we actually worked towards finding solution to it. And the best thing what we did was we worked on all the cost what we had in office, for example, data bandwidth, which was of no use since nobody was in the office. So we reduced the bandwidth of lease line, we reduced the call services. So those costs what was saved within the organization from the operation side, we again thought of resetting back things to employees, and within 3 months, we got their salaries back. And in October, we gave them proper appraisals also. So that actually helped because we always think about employee side of it, but the other side was, the things which have been used in office, which are no more of use. So we actually worked on those areas and got the cost down for those. And the biggest cost for IT is the bandwidth. And we saved huge amount of money in bandwidth. So that actually helped us a lot.
All right. Fantastic, Mr. Ajay. So from all your inputs, I could, one thing what I can really sense is it had been really tough. It wasn't so as easy as it seemed to be for business owners like us to balance between, being very cost effective and also being empathetic at the same time. I think the journey had been really, really tough one. But here we are amidst everything and sitting here. And I think we have to give ourselves a pat on our shoulders because I think nobody else is going to give us. Right. So as entrepreneurs, yes, we can go for it. So as an entrepreneur, I think one thing that unites us in common is the ability to think of a solution for a problem, right? So whatever the hurdles that is going to come in front of us, we as entrepreneurs are always looking forward to what next, or how should I overcome it? What is the solution to this problem? Right? So we've been talking about a lot of challenges so far. At this juncture, I would like to understand what kind of technologies should be adopted by the SME organizations to build resilience. So this is going to be my next question. Let me ask Mr. Nasser this time from the first. Over to Nasser.
In terms of technology that needs to be, I think they should look more into usage of, the technologies like what we have, SAP, ERP, and all this in terms of the production, the manufacturing should get more and more into this type of, to whatever extent that is possible, that they should get more streamlined towards usage of technology. And also in terms of, let us say the salespeople or the people who interact with the customers, a lot of training needs to happen to them. The SMEs are more into let's say one person going and sitting with the other and trying to do business is what is in the SME. So now they should start seeing into how people can have all these trainings to do things virtually also, or with limited connectivity if they are not able to go, then how people can be more efficient in using the virtual platforms, which is of course a major thing for the IT, but for a manufacturing industry, this will be really very important for that segment. And also how they can manage to reach out to a large segment of possible customers, because you are not there going and knocking the door, but how you can look at ways of connecting with your target audience and how they can make. So that way, if you look at for an SME, possibly this type of things could be more helpful.
All right. Wonderful, Mr. Nasser. Let me ask Mr. Ajay Sawant.
Yeah, Muthu. So what I feel for the small and medium organizations to build resilience, I feel that there are 4 technologies they need to adopt ASAP. The first and foremost, let their employees work from anywhere. So virtualization, desktop virtualization, or the app virtualization is the key thing that they need to adopt first. Second is, of course, they need to start adopting cloud. The core part of their business, they need to build on-premise, but non-core piece of it, I think they should move on the cloud because they do not have administrative excellence within their organization. So unnecessarily, they do not have to carry that baggage of managing it on-premise. So they keep on, outsourcing it to the, cloud service providers. So adoption of cloud is another thing. Third and most important thing is cybersecurity. That's something which, going to be a talk in the boardroom. Every SMB organization needs to have some provision on the cybersecurity space. And fourth, which is again a very important, is a collaborative model. They need to have various collaboration tools that how they can increase the productivity of their employees when they are working from anywhere. So these are the 4 technologies I would prefer that to build resilience are important for any SMB organization.
Fantastic, Mr. Ajay. Let me ask Mr. Ajay Lulia regarding the same.
So I would say the first and foremost is the online tools where that right now we are working distributed environment where people are working in different location. The best way to do is get them online and get them virtually connected so they don't feel that they're left out. Passing information about company's well-being and how the future is going to be for the company and technology should be passed across the board, because since we are sitting virtually, I hope, I'm sure that things are not passed very easily to all the workforce within the organization. The second most important thing is training. Now that people are working from home, I'm sure they don't get information about what new things are going on, because in office premises, people talk about new technology, they help making small tools, and they start working on that specific technology or new initiative within the organization. Let's lead any department. So this training can help a lot. It can be training from organization level, or we can open up to all the employees, get your learning, create a presentation and do a training online. That can help a lot. Third and most important thing is security. So what I feel is while working with distributed environment, the most important thing is security, because company has contract with clients. And if we have contracts with client to make sure the data is secure, we have to make sure the data is secure for our employees and for the devices what we're giving. So some softwares, some processes, some policies will actually make sure that security is in place for the entire organization. And the fourth point and the important point is to see where the market is going, get in touch with clients and see where the client is moving. Because of pandemic, we have learned a lot. We have changed our path. I'm sure every client must have changed their path as well. So talking to a client and understanding their needs will actually help us be in the market and achieve best in the market.
All right. Fantastic, Mr. Ajay. So moving forward, as I was talking in my opening remarks, I said everything around us has been changed, right from our lifestyle and to the way we do business, right? So thanks to the technology, that the way we do business has been completely changed. So I would like to ask Mr. Sanjeev, comment on how technology is changing the way we do business. Over to you.
I think we are into IT services where we do a consulting to the companies. If you look at prior to pandemic, people were more connected and using a paper-based work. People used to go to office, do paperwork. I think after the pandemic has given us saying that we need to work from home, go digital, so paperless. So it becomes now a norm where you may be working with 90% of the time paperless. So it means you need to go have that trust, because the systems what you're going to use, they should be trusted. So that need to be up to date. One of the things I think today we are recommending, whenever we are using a technology, we try to recommend our clients as well as internally we use IoT, AI modules, so that the automation becomes very easy for you. Adoption becomes very easy for you. Third is the costing, because what a lot of times customer would like to have the new technology, but the adoption, because the training need to happen, the people in the way of working in the past versus how you wanted to work upon that mindset, the training part need to be imparted. I think that's where we help the customers. So use online tools, do a complete check on the security, because it's very important, because today ransomwares, I think a lot of thefts are happening. Digitally, it's very easy to lose everything. You feel sense of security, but same time it's in a peak of a second you are going to lose everything. So it's a trade-off is going to happen, but go paperless, go digital. Today, there are a lot of technology. As we speak, every 3 months, 6 months, there is a new version, new upgrade. So the dynamics are happening very fast, but the adoption rate need to happen, because every time anything new comes up, the customer is not going to adopt it. They will wait for 6 to 7, 9 months. So we try to help the customer hand-holding, and likewise, we are also using a complete, the AI tools, the meeting online tools, the productivity tools, VPNs, the virtualization tools, a lot of things we are using internally, and we are also recommending our customers the same.
Fantastic, fantastic, Mr. Sanjeev. Let me ask the same to Mr. Pinaki.
Yes, my points on this global crisis, the effects are in different industries and different verticals. Like if you say the service industry, transport industry, and even the manufacturing industry or the research industry, this effect has a different vertical in different industry. Two major economic theories are challenged. Number one, that economic subskill theory and your the competitive advantage theory. These two theories are challenged in this crisis. Competitive advantage theory means the blue collar jobs are no more required now from this onwards. Number two is the subskill theory, that you cannot increase the cost of your product. Then what? So the only thing, the adaptations rate of emerging technology or disruptive in case of AI, the rate of adaptation is 70%. People have no choice to get it done. 28% people are losing job in this. But still, there is options. Like I'll talk about that part differently. But the question is, like, the adaptability of technology is not a choice. It is an option for you. You have to do it. Previously, we think, because this the fundamental theory was challenged, right? Which is that what one thinks everything. We have seen the business models wash out in case of Way and the Uber, and in this you have seen how the business model wash out. Why? Because there are the basic fundamentals was challenged, and we are not prepared for that. The methods we are using, these need to be compensated by emerging technologies such as AI is one of the major adaptation in terms of technology need to be adopted, and where you can break down the cost, that your maintenance, your productivity, you can focus on SDGs, your emissions, and your wastage, and your profitability. These are the things which can be accommodated in your system, and the possibly the human being is not able to compensate in a personal level. Here, the intelligence of a machine is very, very important in terms of the said discussion we are doing.
All right, fantastic, Mr. Pinaki. Yes, I think we are stepping into the last 5 minutes of today's session. I have 2 more questions with me, and I call this as the rapid fire round. So 2 questions, going to be very, very general questions. I'm expecting a word answer from each and every one of you for the questions. All right, so shall we start? So, as we were talking about the pandemic, the lockdown, the challenges and everything. Now, maybe this second wave is also going to get subsided in a couple of months or 2, or that's how we are going to believe. But we are going to again go back to the office. We are going to do business, and that day is not so far, right? So after this pandemic, right, what was that one major initiative for your company to reset the growth? So this is going to be my question. I'd like to start with Mr. Ajay. Remember, it's a rapid fire round. Over to Ajay. Ajay Sawant. Mr. Ajay, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, so the basic resetting of growth, we have started our application division. So though we are in an infrastructure business, we'll continue to do that. But we have started our application division whereby we are doing analytics and mobile application as a new line of business.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Mr. Ajay. Over to another Ajay Lulia.
So for us, we actually are working across the locations now. So we used to hire resources from Mumbai only, but now we are hiring resources from across India now. So that is one growth which will make sure that we have a growth. Second thing is we have made sure that we work towards the training side of it to make sure that we are on mark with latest technology in the market.
Fantastic, fantastic, Mr. Ajay. Mr. Sanjeev.
We are currently into product. I think our product line is more with the AI. I think we are launching our product with a couple of AI and IoT features. I think that was skipped last year, but this year I think that is going to make a difference, and we are going to accelerate that in a big way.
Fantastic, Mr. Sanjeev. Over to Mr. Nasser.
Yeah, we started an initiative which is called as COROB iNext. When I say COROB iNext, it is COROB of what we are. How do I, every employee, move it to the next level? So which is redefining whatever things we have been doing, identifying areas of improvement, new products, expansion of the factory. In fact, we are building a new factory also. Then Industry 4 implementation. All this comes under that COROB iNext, which is moving us from what we are of yesterday, seeing this, what is happening today to us, so we move to the next level. So this is a major initiative which comprises of a lot of activities. I'm not going into details, but that is our reset button that we pushed on.
Fantastic. Over to Mr. Pinaki.
Yes, we are trying for more industry to collaborate now. So we work on some of the 3-4 industries before. Now we are trying to collaborative in the major other industries which we don't work, and we have already started on those we are not into service industry, but in trying to import the technology, the emerging one, into new segments which everybody is looking for, and how to implement in an existing system, and that to be identified and give the solutions. These are the things which are very aggressively accepted by the industry, and it's working very good now in our sales of for the business businesses.
Fantastic, Mr. Pinaki. All right, so I would like to end today's, or before that, very interestingly, from all the lovely gentlemen, what I've heard is, I think the major initiative that we are going to take is two things. One is product innovation, like how Sanjeev, Mr. Ajay or Nasser sir had told. So it is all about product innovation. And number two, I have to take in the inputs of Mr. Ajay, Lulia and Mr. Pinaki. It's all about collaboration, right? So post-pandemic, I think none of the organizations is going to survive unless and otherwise it is ready to collaborate with the others. And I don't think so there is a market for a monopoly anymore in the days to come, but let's see. Yes, moving forward, I think I have to end today's panel discussion on a very, very lighter note. So during this pandemic, when we were all at home, I would like to understand what were the things that you watched or you read to get your business update. So with this, I'm going to end my today's session. I'd like to start once again with Mr. Ajay Sawant. What did you read or watch during the pandemic to get business updates? Over to you.
So I read a lot of information on Gartner Peer Insight, which gives me 300 technologies knowledge that what is happening in our industry and what is the future technologies which are going to come. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Mr. Ajay, Lulia?
So I read a lot of tech blogs like TechCrunch and Mashable. So I used to read those and read a couple of books. And the best book I read was 5 AM Club, which actually made me get up early in the morning.
Fantastic. 5 AM Club by Robin Sharma, a fantastic book. Yeah. Mr. Sanjeev, Samala?
I read a lot of things because I think as an owner, you need to be looking at a lot of technicals, but business, financials, a lot of things. So I keep reading into a lot of, magazines, news and everything, keep updated. And also on a personal front, I keep, listening to music also. So that, it gets relaxed to me. So that's my, keep synergies.
Fantastic. Mr. Nasser?
Yeah, I was attending lots and lots of these webinars and programs that, nowadays that has come up. So you keep yourself abreast of what is happening around and keep picking up some points from whatever is discussed. On the personal front, obviously, to spend time with family, one was, all these movies and things that are there in the platform. So definitely that was 2 to 3 hours of family connect time. So this is that's how.
Absolutely, that's
fantastic, Mr. Nasser. Let me end it with Mr. Pinaki, over to you.
Yes, if you think about the financial jargons and financial analysis, mostly I follow World Economic Forum's publications or others, and technically the most of the research paper I generally used to have because that's my job also, and that is it's a part of my daily life to learn from the different research things. And as I said, the financial terms I follow international journals for economics forums or some others. That's how I update myself.
Fantastic, fantastic, Mr. Pinaki. And I think with that, we come to the end of today's panel discussion round. And it's 4, as I told you, by sharp 4, we are winding up. But honestly, I never knew how the last 60 minutes went by. It just flew like anything. I think I have to give the credits to all the lovely panelists here who kept it going. I think we have to give ourselves a good round of applause. And at this juncture, I have to bring in Janis for a wonderful closing remark. Over to you, Janis.
And thank you, Mr. Lulia, Mr. Samala, Mr. Laskar, Mr. Sawant, Arivoli, and Mr. Muthu. I think it was great insight, and we will look forward to you coming in our more such sessions in future, and enlightening us as to how do we take the next steps forward from here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. On behalf of the talk, wishing you all the best for all the endeavors, the days to come. Have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you.